G'day and welcome to Outsiders Weather and the Skeptics Ice Age Watch, where a mystery worthy of Detective Columbo has been solved. I refer, of course, to the great disappearing 1952 heatwave.
They're swimming in the Lido, or sitting on its brink. The kids are making whoopee and the oldies getting pink. From out these idle loungers, let's pick a manly torso that's browning rather nicely, or maybe even more so. It's hot in Hyde Park corners, so guard your eyes and nose. It's a scorcher throughout Britain, so crowd beneath the rose.
Yes, 1952 was a scorcher in Britain, that much we know, but what about here in Australia? Well, according to this old graph put out by the Bureau of Meteorology, 1952 was a scorcher here in Australia too. Indeed, we can see here that between 1910 and 2018, 1952 had the largest number of very hot days in Australia. Or at least it used to. Shortly after the election, Craig Kelly, the brilliant MP for Hughes in Sydney's South, went looking for this very graph, only to find it had disappeared from the Bureau's website. Kapoof, gone. But who on earth had rubbed it out?
If you ask me, my guess is that the killer is a complete outsider.
Well, I'm sure you're right about that, sir, and I certainly intend to investigate that possibility. But if you don't mind, I'd just like to poke around your institute.
Anything you say, Lieutenant. We'd like to help in any way we can.
So like Columbo, Craig Kelly started investigating, but the plot thickens as an entirely new graph mysteriously reappeared on another part of the Bureau's website. And on the new graph, weirdly, the greatest number of very hot days is no longer 1952. That's cooled right down, but is now 2018. And wow, they even managed to find some extra hot days to warm up freezing old 2011 that didn't even exist on the old graph. So what skullduggery is afoot at the Bureau of Meteorology? What are they up to? Changing graphs to make it look like the past is colder than it was and the present is warmer than it is? Now, why would anyone ever do that?
That's enough, Columbo. I'm tired of your accusations and your innuendos.
Well, all I'm trying to do is determine the facts, sir.
And indeed, once the facts start changing, as the Bureau appear to have done, then truth itself is the victim. This is a disgrace. Speaking of mysterious deaths, a report this week claims that in Japan, the cold caused by higher electricity prices killed far more people than radiation poisoning after the Fukushima nuclear accident. Indeed, according to the report, the deaths from the higher electricity prices likely outnumbered the deaths from the accident. Sound familiar? The very same precautionary principle, the same concept that we use here to shut down our coal-fired power plants to save the planet, but allowing people who can't afford expensive power bills to die of the cold. Meanwhile, an Arctic blast with temperatures as low as minus 43.5 degrees is sweeping across Midwest and central United States as we speak, and Chicago has had the earliest snowfall in over 30 years. And what is a new and exciting phenomenon, we might call it the Thunberg effect, if you will, just days after global warming guru Greta visited Alberta in Canada, they suffered yet more record-breaking freezing cold temperatures. While Utah has shivered through perhaps the lowest October temperatures ever recorded in continental US. And Great Falls has already had more than half the normal amount of snow for the entire year, a month before winter has even begun. And Denver looks like it's broken the all-time coldest October temperature since the Russian Revolution in 1917.
There's one other thing I wanted to ask you about.
Oh yes, there's one other thing indeed. Has David Attenborough been caught red-handed again? Yes, according to Paul Homewood, writing on the Conservative Woman website. Last time it was a nonsense story about walruses dying because of global warming, which was debunked. This time, Attenborough claims that albatrosses are dying in droves because of global warming in Antarctica's Southern Ocean. Trouble is, the Southern Ocean has been cooling since the 1980s, not warming, and temperatures are no higher now than in the 19th century. Yes, it is a crime what's happening to the albatrosses, but you don't need to be Columbo to work out the culprit. It's modern fishing methods, not global warming, that is killing the albatrosses. Even The Guardian noted earlier this year, albatrosses and other seabirds are irresistibly drawn to baited lines, some of them which run up to 80 miles long, and each year an estimated 100,000 birds are hooked and drowned. As usual, climate change alarmism is not only factually wrong, worse, it distracts people from dealing with genuine environmental problems. And that's it from Outsiders Weather and the Albatross's Ice Age Watch.
Albatross! Albatross? 2 chalk ices, please. I haven't got chalk ices. I only got the albatross. Albatross! What flavour is it? It's a bird, isn't it? It's a bloody seabird. It's not any bloody flavour. Albatross! Get wafers with it. Of course you don't get bloody wafers with it. Albatross!